G'day, welcome to Frothy Friday. Just checking out the birdies in that tree. If you've ever done a workshop with me and I've done an acknowledgement of country, a lot of the time I'm talking about this spot where I'm sitting right now in Currumbin Valley. You might be able to see a beautiful waterway there in your Gumbe country, and often come down here every morning. Most mornings, to stand in a spot and to ground into the ground with my partner Jackie, and we do breath work and we do gets, which you might have heard me talk about as well, which is what are you grateful for, what are you excited about today, because we all do gratitude practices, or most of us these days, sounds, but a lot of the time we don't think about like what can we get excited for, and sometimes we just have like a shit of a day coming up, and it really helps for you just to like pull out a micro moment where you might just have that cuppa with your mate and have a frothy conversation and just get you whipped up. Like a lot of dopamine kicks in when we think about frothy things that are coming up. And the last one is T, which is what am I going to take action on? And so that's kind of the vibe of, which isn't anything revolutionary, you know. If there's one thing I do today and I get it done, then that'll be a successful day. So welcome to this spot. It's amazing. And when you stand or sit in the same spot, day in, day out, you'll start to know what's going on. And you'll start to know who's who in the zoo. Except it's not a zoo because everyone's kicking it, going where they want. Speaking of workshops, I ran a workshop this week on Thursday called Prime for Performance. It was pretty rad, except everything went wrong that probably could have. It was one of those ones, you know, because I guess we're all on Zooms now. Many of us are on Zooms, whether it's with family and friends or for professional presentations or whatever we're doing. And technology can just fucking balls up, can't it? And in particular, this one, it's kind of just hilarious. I went through after it because a lot of people couldn't make the live session to send them the replay. And so I decided to do some, creative editing so you didn't get so many frozen screens and whatnot. But I actually, through the process, I realized that the whole point of the workshop, being primed for performance, is all about what are our practices that we're doing each day, like coming down here and breathing, that allow for when you've got a presentation where something's on the line, that you can kind of transmute the negativity into something positive, have a laugh, and it kind of felt good. So I actually left quite a few of the fuck ups in, because that's about being human, and it actually displayed what I was trying to say about performance training, and that it's all well and good that we want to talk about accessing peak performance and becoming the optimal human and all this kind of stuff, which is all rad. We should have those aspirations, but within the times that we're living and the amount of disruption, and Zoom call disruptions seems very trivial considering what's going on around the world, it really is these foundational trainings of the breath, of moving, of good nutrition, of connection to country and to each other, that are so important. And I wanted to depict that. And this lady, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was one of the ladies on there, because I saw her face when it happened, somehow figured out how to draw all over my Zoom. So I'm doing this presentation and she's got this red pen like written through the middle of, so I was like, I actually messaged, put it in the email to everyone. I said, don't feel bad about that, because one, it was hilarious, and two, how did you do it? Because that'll be really cool to be able to do that. It'll make Zooms more interactive. So that lady, if you're watching this, let me know. Or if you know how to do that, give me a shout out as well. I had a bit of I think there's something about when you're running a workshop or a play shop, whatever it is, and things go wrong, that there's an energetic resonance that's carried from how you're carrying yourself into the workshop. And I think I would burn in the candle through the week, too many late night calls on Zooms and trying to get stuff done for deadlines, and which is a shit term, fuck deadlines. Yeah, and so I wasn't feeling super frothy going into it. I do a percentage check. It's like a really important thing for me when I do meetings. Flog that one off Brene Brown. So it's just like, what percentage you got at the moment? And so the whole purpose of priming for performance is to get our batteries up into that 85, 90 to 100%, sometimes super turbo frothing at 110. And that's really Rob and my job. That was a nice rhyme. Through that workshop was to say, hey, we're not operating around there at the moment. Would you like to try, at least try? And I was probably going into that call, and I didn't say it on the call, which maybe I just got a bit too whipped up in trying to get the presentation to work, but I was probably about a 62%, which is pretty shit house, you know. I like to be at least an 80 most of the time, and most of the time I feel like I am in the 90s, which is really cool. But that was kind of unfair on me to the group to not share that when other people are being vulnerable. If the person leading the workshop isn't being vulnerable, then kind of doesn't really set the scene, does it? But yeah, that's the whole point of these Frothy Fridays. You think they're for you, but they're actually for me to reflect on my week that's been, and hopefully share something that's useful at the same time. If you'd like, I don't normally do plugs on here, but I really want a good 10 humans in this 30-day program. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're keen to do some prime for performance stuff, let me know and I'll send you the details. Or you might just want to watch the video and how I've left in some of the funny parts of the workshop. There's some really good stuff in there as well. So even if you don't want to do a 30-day challenge, which I cringe a little bit at the 30-day challenge because I've bitched about them quite a bit on here, this one's going to be different because there's no fucking abstinence involved. In fact, vice optimization will be built in. Yeah, don't know where I was going with that. Pretty much like, yeah, reach out to me if you want to check out the presentation because it's got some frothy stuff in it. Take you from flat to frothing. It's always interesting to use the terminology frothing with a predominantly US audience and see what I get. But I feel like there's something nice about when people do get what you're talking about when you're talking about frothing. I also had the privilege, I had to have a couple of yarns with Warren Roberts, who's the founder of Yarn Australia this week. A really beautiful opportunity for me to connect him with someone who's a dear friend of mine who runs something called Wisdom Weavers. So I think it's wisdomweavers.world if you want to check that out. Magic, really beautiful video. So that was a good yarn. That was a good solid yarn where I sat back and listened most of the time. Because it's just as important in a dialogue for you to listen and hold the energy sometimes rather than having to launch the waffle copter, as they say at Harvard. So yeah, meanwhile he's launching the waffle copter right now. And then we had I was super proud. I did my first co-facilitation of a yarn with Yarn Australia on Wednesday. And they're always really powerful. We went for just over 3 hours, and yeah, one thing I didn't know as an Australian is the 4th of August is for a lot of the stolen generation who didn't know what their birthday was. That was the day that they celebrated their birthday. Although, and if you don't know what the stolen generation is, and I use the term is, not was, officially it's kind of from 1910 to about sometime in the 70s, it was dispossession of first Australians from their families because the government was trying to assimilate them, and yeah, super horrible thing. And it's still going on. I was listening to Tyson Yunkaporta talk this morning about how there's more Indigenous children being taken from their families now than there was in the 70s and before that. So it's important, and that's the whole point of having yarns and talking about the stuff that makes me feel uncomfortable and you feel uncomfortable. And because often when you are in yarns about this stuff, it's just to listen and to acknowledge that those things have happened, and if there's a calling for you to step up and do something, which might be just facilitating dialogue, which I'm trying to do, trying my best, or something more, supporting, listen out for it, be open for it. It's your jam. You might, and also there's something interesting to be said, because I shared this with my buddy Steve, and he's of Irish heritage, and there's a bit of a kindred connection between the Irish and First Australians here because of dispossession and the treatment of the British Empire over them, which has gone up until recent times and is still continuing. That's not really my thing. I don't know a lot about it. I've got a few Irish friends, so I have a yarn with them about it. That's pretty much, the thing. Are you interested in the history of your fellow humans? Because those conversations, those yarns are so important, just to give you just to position yourself in the world. Now more than ever, I think that's really important. And it's a thread for Frothy Friday is that I'm doing the irony, right, of me doing a book writing challenge at the moment. I'm trying to write a book, so I've got kind of a Frankenstein of chapters all through my couple of computers. So I've had to dive back onto an old Mac to check them out, and yeah, I'm gonna try and write a book in 6 weeks. And I had to, as part of the challenge, I had to say what I'd give up if I didn't finish it. And so I leant over and I asked my partner Jackie, I was like, oh, what should I give up if I don't get it done in 6 weeks? And I was expecting her to say, like, I don't know, some money, like donate some money. And she was like, you don't have that much money, so it probably wouldn't have worked because you couldn't have paid it anyway. I was like, oh, thanks for reminding me, Jackie. And then she said, oh, I thought about desserts because, you love your desserts. And then she said, but then I thought about it and I knew you would just go and sneak them anyway, like when I wasn't looking. And I was like, yeah, fair play. Because I went and had carrot cake with my mate Darren at like 10 a.m. this morning. So yeah, that's true. And so what she said was that I have to move out if I don't get the book finished. Oh, shit. So I might be camping down here on the sit spot before long. I even said, if I don't get it done, can I sleep in the swag outside our place? And she said, no, you have to move off the property. So I might be homeless come next month. Nah, that's a message for me to pull my finger out and actually create it and get frothing. Write this book, share it with some fellas and some crew, and just go, what do you reckon? What is this pelican talking about? Yeah, so it's been a magical big week. Definitely need some recuperation. And like I said at the top, if you're interested in coming to hang out with a couple of, as Rob would say, a couple of dickheads, a couple of good dickheads, and have some fun with like health optimization, like have some play. Oh, that's my last thing, I swear. You might have seen some play, some beat breathing that I've been doing. Check out my wall, or my walls on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Do you have a wall on LinkedIn? I don't know. Fuck LinkedIn, don't go there. I'm gonna post this to LinkedIn probably. Anyway, whatever. I was doing beat breathing, which is just you breathe in with a song and breathe out with a song. And I've put some details, and I've been getting some sick notes from people who've been doing some beat breathing, especially the Bohemian Rhapsody, like, you go Queen. And so people get a frothing, even though I look like, I was watching it back, I was laughing going, wow, that's what I look like on a dance, fucking hell. Anyway, that's cool. And so I got a note from my buddy Barry, and she's a teacher, and so she sent the protocol, which is just a fancy fucking word for the steps to beat breathe, to all the teachers at her school. So they're in lockdown, and she thought that might be a really cool thing to do. So if you want to try beat breathing, it's super simple. You obviously like music. If you don't like music, then unfriend me. And find a banger that you love and sit down and breathe to it. And there you go. You've just done conscious breathing. Not that hard. And not trying to be a prick there, am I? No. There's not that much to conscious breathing. It's just sitting there and doing intentional breathing. That's good for you. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Much love, and stay frothy.